Welcome, everyone. Let's just wait for some more people to come into the stream. As we get some more people into the stream, we'll just wait on. First time doing a live stream here on YouTube. Looks like we are live. And we are also live on Instagram as well. Let's see what we got here. So welcome on in, everyone. As we get this live stream out the way. Let's see if we're live on Instagram as well. Let's see, we got some more people coming in. I see Hamza from Djibouti. How's it going? Iskawaran. Michael, what's up, brother? How's it going, Michael? How's your guys' days going? Okay, first time using StreamYard or live streaming, so testing how this goes. But what's up, everyone? We're doing a live stream on exactly how to break into a network engineering position as fast as we possibly can, because as you guys know, the faster you guys can break into a position, the better it is, as opposed to waiting. So that's kind of what this live stream is going to be about. So go ahead. It's going to be a Q&A session mostly. So go ahead and put all your questions in the chat, and I'll just go ahead and answer all your guys' questions that you guys have. It could be anything in terms of network engineering. It could be anything in terms of resumes, CCNA, labbing, how to pass an interview, anything in regards to that. I'll be able to answer you guys' questions. So go ahead and put it in the chat. Let me just verify if I'm live on Instagram. Okay, so we're live on YouTube. And then let's see, Instagram. If you guys want to follow me on Instagram as well, it's IT with Wali. So you can find me there on Instagram. Okay, it looks like we're not live on Instagram, which is fine. But so welcome on in, everyone. So Michael says, going good, studying for my CCNA right now. Awesome, brother. Yeah, when it comes to the CCNA, Michael, when you're studying for it, please make sure you're focusing 80% of your studies on test taking. So I know you want to watch videos. I know you want to do like the actual homework and studying part, but the most important thing in terms of passing the Cisco Certified Network Associate exam, you're going to have to be good at test taking. So be sure to be able to do a ton, like a very good amount of practice exams to be able to do well on that particular exam. So yeah, good luck to you, Michael. Also, did you schedule the exam, Michael, for the CCNA? That's very important that you do. Because if you don't schedule your exam and you say you're studying for it, you're not really serious. You have to schedule your exam no matter what. And if you don't schedule it, like you're kind of wasting your time and pretending like you're serious, which you're really not. So that's kind of one thing I want you guys to know about. Okay, so now it looks like we are live on Instagram as well. So welcome on in, everyone. Welcome on in. Shout out to Techie Chris. W setup, bro. I appreciate it. Yeah, I'm loving this new setup that I got here. Just wanted to improve the quality of the content, and yeah, I'm just really liking the setup here, and I appreciate the kind words, Techie Chris. And if you guys know Techie Chris, he's another fellow network engineer. We had a podcast about like maybe a month ago, or maybe even more than a month ago. So if you guys haven't seen it, go watch it and check out his channel as well. He's putting out some fire content. He's a fellow network engineer like us. So go ahead and follow and subscribe to Techie Chris. Let's see here. I'm seeing a lot of network engineers, lot of network engineers role that require you to code. How does that make sense? And they're ready to answer questions about on automation. So Kezi Luwaki, in terms of network engineer interviews or network engineer job descriptions that are asking you to know how to code, that is quite rare. I never had an issue with them asking about that, to be honest. Obviously, there are some positions that require you to code, but it's very rare. I mean, I've helped multiple students, and almost 95 to almost 100% of the positions that I look at don't require you to code. So I mean, if they do answer coding questions, the way I would answer it is, and assuming you don't know how to code, that's why I'm assuming you're asking that question. So if you don't know how to code, you just tell me, hey, I'm not really particularly sure on how to code this particular, do any sort of automation coding, but that's something I can learn on the job quite well. And that's all I have to say. And if they trust you and they have the faith in you to be able to do that on the job, then you're totally fine. Elaine said, "What do you think about RHCSA?" I have no idea what that is. Can you tell me what that is, Elaine? And just let me know. Also, you're from Montreal. What's up? What up? What up from Montreal? Is it cold over there right now? I know you guys are all the way up north in Canada. I know you guys speak French. That's all I know about Montreal. Don't really know much about it. We have another question. Where's the best place to get essential materials to really learn networking? The best place to get essential materials to really learn networking? That's kind of an interesting question. So, essential materials, what I recommend as essential materials is some sort of video course, right? Some sort of exam prep, like test taking machine, whether that's Boson or some other softwares that you guys can find. I recommend Boson. So those are the only two things you need, as well as Packet Tracer. Those are the three things you need: Packet Tracer, some sort of video course. You can either do my course, link in the description. You can do one on Udemy. You can do one anywhere, but do a video course. You don't need a book. You just need the Packet Tracer and some sort of test taking software. So those are the three essentials. And the way I would go about it, I would first do the video course, finish that, then, or while you're doing the video course, do the Packet Tracer as well, because that should go hand in hand with the course. And then once you finish that, then spend the rest of your time test taking, as well as doing some labs here and there. But that's it. That's literally all you should be doing most of the time, as well as some, if you can, do a little bit of basically labbing on the side, like heavy labbing. So that's what I would recommend for sure. Let's see what we got here. Where's the best place to, okay, to answer that one? Red Hat certification system administrator. Is that a certification of Linux? I never gotten a Linux certification, so I don't know anything about that certification in my honest opinion. And I just want to make a quick note, like, just like think about it. I've never heard of this certification. I've been in the industry for almost 4 years. So that just shows that most likely the certification doesn't have the name recognition that it should have. And to be honest, if you want to learn Linux, you just do Linux. Get a Linux machine and play around with Linux. You shouldn't get a certification to be qualified in Linux. You know what I'm saying? Because when you go into interviews, right, and they ask you questions about Linux, you should be able to answer them as if you already do it day to day. And that's the easiest way to learn it, as opposed to getting another certification. So that's kind of how I would answer it. So I don't really know much about it. If you want to get it. But you have to what's your end goal? Is your end goal just to get the certification, just to get it? Or is it because you want to GovTech roles like that certification? Okay, so Michael, if that particular certification is required for like DoD specific roles and it's a requirement, then obviously get it, right? But if it's not a requirement, then there's no need to get it, I would say. But like I said, I don't know anything about that Linux certification. I'm not sure how it works. I never taken a Linux certification. And even me myself, I barely know any Linux myself. I barely do it day to day. And it's not something that I as a network engineer need. And the students that I've helped get into network engineer positions, they never needed to know Linux to be able to land entry level and basic level network engineering positions. So that's kind of what I would say there. Hi, new to it. I see a question from M. Hi, new to it. Like your content. What kind of lab you put on your CV? So when it comes to my cover letter or resume, the type of labs that I put in really depends on, well, for me, I don't really put labs, to be honest, because I already have job experience and I just put the job experience on my resume. Now, if you don't have job experience, how would you frame the lab? So I would literally just put the project on your resume, like you built out a full-fledged three-tier network topology for and the topology has to be for a specific reason. Is it a business? Is it a hospital? Is it a cloud? Is it a data center? Whatever environment you built your lab on. Once you built your lab for that particular environment, then you want to put it on your resume as if it looks like a job description. So you would put the name of the environment, you'd put all the information there, and then you want to put minimum. And I say this to all of my students: minimum, you need to put about 15 bullet points on that particular resume for that particular skill. And then you're gonna be like, where am I gonna get that information from? Super easy. The easiest way to create bullet points on your resume, if you don't have information for it yet, or you don't know how to add the information to your resume, super easy. All I do is I use ChatGPT. I use the voice feature, right? And I will talk to ChatGPT for maybe 1 minute, or even 2 minutes explaining exactly what I did in that particular project. And I'll say specifically, can you create 15 bullet points so I can put on my resume based off this project I created? Then you'll be able to put all those bullet points in. And then at that point, you'll be able to have stuff on your resume that you can use. So that's kind of what I would do for all of your projects that you've done. And I say 15 bullet points because the more bullet points, the more keywords, the more likely you're going to be seen whenever you put your resume out for as an application. So that is one thing there. Let's see here. Let me get one. Let me check 1 second right here. See if I got any messages on LinkedIn or on YouTube, because we're going live right now on YouTube as well as Instagram. So guys, if you don't follow me on Instagram, it's IT with Wali. So you guys can follow me there. Let's see any more questions we got here. So Ezekiel says, how can you help me land a network engineer position in Canada? So you are in Canada. So obviously I'm in the United States. I don't know the Canadian market fairly well. So I want to be able to, based off your question, it's very vague. I don't know your experience level. I don't know your degree. I don't know your certifications. I don't know your experience. So how can I help you land a position? If you do need help, there's a link in my description where you where you're able to book a call with me if you are interested in help. So you can just find me there. But yeah, let's see. Your next question here. On average, how long do you think it'll take to learn networking and then start applying for jobs? On average, I would say would take minimum 2 months to learn networking. And that's assuming you have a lot of time on your hands. So if you have a lot of time on your hands and you're willing to spend 6 hours a day minimum to study, then you can learn networking, right? Especially if you're a fast learner, especially if you learn the right way. If you learn using the tactics that I teach, like using AI, like using a video course, like using a mentor, especially a mentor. If you have a mentor, that's going to make it extremely easy for you to be able to pass a network engineering interview, because that's the ultimate goal to learn networking, is to be able to pass an interview so you can land a job, because the real learning starts on the job. And this is going to sound crazy, but in terms of the how much I know now to how much I knew when I started my first network engineer position, it was literally like I didn't know, like it was probably like 20%. Now let's say I'm like at 80% in terms of like my knowledge level, maybe even 70%. But I was at 20% when I started. So you just have to be good enough to be able to pass the interview, because the real learning starts on the job. Because you can only learn so much from labbing. So I would say it takes about 2 months to learn, or even 3 months to really get a good grasp of it. And then from there, you should be able to have enough knowledge to be able to apply for jobs. But that requires you to have a mentor and really good guidance, and not just making the same mistakes a lot of people make. So that's one thing that I would recommend you do on there. So that's one thing. So, but by the way, guys, let me know what you guys think about this format. Should I do more live streams just like this? Haven't done one like this before. So we're using like a software I've never even heard about. So let me know what you guys think, and we'll just kind of go from there. So we're also live on IG as well. Let me just send this quick message out. I'm going to answer a couple more questions here. So let's see what we got. So we're also getting questions on IG. So let me just go and see what's cracking on IG to see what kind of questions we have on there. Let's see. I don't see any questions on IG on my end, because I'm only getting the YouTube ones on my stage. I'm using StreamYard, if you guys don't know what StreamYard is. But let's just see what we got going on here. Arinze, if you are, feel free to add the IG questions as a comment on YouTube, so that way I can see it. But yeah, let's continue on here. So I have 3 years of network engineering back in India, and I'm currently doing my master's here in the United States. I might need sponsorship in the future. Do you help with F1 students too? So when it comes to F1 students, I don't really help students who need sponsorship, mainly because I am not a sponsor. I can't sponsor you. That is another like bridge for you to cross as well, on top of obviously the learning. So you're going to have to find someone to sponsor you for a position. I don't know how that's going to work for you. I'm a US citizen. I lived in the US my whole life, so I don't know the exact situation you're going through. You do have 3 years of experience, so you should have the knowledge to be able to do the job. But obviously, your bottleneck is going to be your visa situation, which I can't be able to help you with. So, unfortunately, I won't be able to help you with that. We have a question here from IG. What are the top what are the three top important engineering nowadays? I'm going to start college. What are the top important engineering? I'm assuming you're talking about the top engineering things you to do, or I'm not really sure how to answer that question, but we'll skip that. Is it possible to work for MSPs remotely while being in Africa, while with the CCNA certification, because they don't appreciate Cisco certifications here? Hamza, I am not in Africa currently, although I was just there. Is it possible to work remotely in Africa? Yes, you can. If you can do the job, and assuming, I mean, it depends. Like, I don't know if you're a U.S. citizen. If you're a U.S. citizen, or you're able to work in the U.S., is that what you're trying to say? And work at an MSP? That, I guess, that is possible. Depends on the company and their company politics, because not every company allows you to work fully remote, especially within network engineering. I've worked fully remote network engineering as well as hybrid, and it is possible. But obviously, the company politics is really what's the determining factor that decides whether you can work remote or not. So that's kind of how I would answer that. Um, Brandon said yes, definitely more. Awesome, guys. If you guys like this live stream, please give it a thumbs up. And please go ahead and add some more comments here, because this is going to be, like I said, we're going to try to do as much podcast as possible, because that's a big deal that we have going on here. Is it possible to work? Okay, you just answered that one. Cyber Nomad said, "Are you Somali?" Yes, I am Somali. Iskawaran. Um, we have Daniel Burr. So Daniel says, question, I have an opportunity to job shadow one of the Walmart network engineers, currently work at Walmart. I have a basic understanding, but am easily a novice. What should I do to get more of it? What should I do to get more of this, basically? So that is a really good situation that you're in right now, Daniel. So currently you're currently working at Walmart. I'm assuming it's a non-technical role at Walmart, but obviously within the Walmart area, there is a network engineer for that particular position. So what I would do in that role, the fact that you're shadowing someone as a network engineer, this is something huge that I tell a lot of my students to do to get experience. It's literally by shadowing. Because if you shadow someone, eventually, obviously depends on the company politics, you may be good enough at some point to be able to do the activities that network engineer does at Walmart. And if you're able to do the activities that network engineer is able to do at Walmart, at some point you should be able to land a position as a network engineer based off the experience you have. So I would say shadow him, take notes. At some point, see if you can get your hands dirty, and ask if you can at some point do the task that he's doing as a network engineer. So that's something I would definitely do, Daniel. You're on the right track. I would do that for like 2 to 3 months, and I guarantee you're going to have a lot more knowledge than all the people who are doing the CCNA certification, because you're pretty much getting on the job experience. And that's something you can put on your resume that's really going to help you a lot. And Daniel, if you need more help with that, there's going to be a link in the description where you can just book a call with me if you have any questions about that. So we have a question about Akon Lawrence, like that name. It says, after CCNA, let's say you don't have the time capacity to pursue CCNP, can you suggest vital protocols and topics you have learned and lab and put them on your resume? So time. So here's the thing, when it comes to the CCNA certification, it pretty much teaches you enough for you to be able to land your first network engineering position. So I want to ask you, Akon, are you looking to become a network engineer, or are you already a network engineer? Because at some point, I get a certification for a purpose. I get it for the reason to land a job, right? And when you do a certification, they give you so many different topics for you to learn about, from routing and switching to BGP to OSPF to TCP/IP to telnetting and SSHing, and they pretty much give you a wide scope, right? That you have to kind of know. And here's the thing: if you just keep learning, and you don't take the skills and do it into a job, you're gonna forget everything. So I don't recommend going from CCNA then getting CCNP, which is smart, what you're doing. But if you want to lab just for fun, I would do a lot of BGP, because that's a really big concept that's kind of covered in the CCNP. I would do tons of that. I would do tons of OSPF routing. Really, just go heavy on the routing side, because routing is one big area. And then I would look into like SD-WAN and other sort of protocols like that, because that's just kind of what's going to help you grow eventually. Because at the end of the day, I don't recommend going for CCNP after CCNA. I would say CCNA, get a job, get that experience, and then you wouldn't even ask that question, because once you get experience, like you know what to do, because I don't want you to be labbing constantly. Next question from Andrew: is it better to start in a lower role to learn networking before engineering? Is it better? I wouldn't say it's better. Like if you're able to land a network engineering position, then I would take it, right? So I wouldn't like if you have the skill set to do a network engineering position, just go for that. But I guess the reason some people go for lower level positions is because they don't have the confidence in themselves to be able to apply for those positions because it says you need 3 to 4, 5 years, 10 years of experience, which is complete nonsense. I don't even look at that when I apply for positions because it means nothing. It absolutely means nothing. If you have the skills, companies are going to hire you. That's just a nonsense thing they put it on a job description. So the real question is, Andrew, if you have the experience, no, then go ahead and apply. Like, just go ahead and apply. No issues. And if you like, if you don't have the confidence, then yeah, go for lower level positions. Either or works best, right? That's kind of how I would answer that. And if you do need help, Andrew, there is a link in description to book a call with me to learn more about becoming a network engineer as fast as possible. We have a question here from Mark L. So, Mark L, I'm a student studying the information systems and working in labs like TCP dump, Wireshark, and more. If my goal is to become a network security engineer, what skills and projects should I focus on? If your goal is to become a network security engineer, the main thing you should focus on for in terms of skills and projects, obviously you're going to have to build very quite like a big lots of projects on like port security, lots of projects on firewalls. You're gonna have to get really good at firewalls as a network security engineer. So you're probably going to need some heavy labbing equipment. You're not going to be able to do this on packet tracer. You're going to have to use either GNS3 or EVE-NG, and you're going to have to use either learn how to use Palo Alto firewalls, FortiGate firewalls, how to use their GUIs, and be able to configure them on a network, right? So I'll learn those sort of things, and I would obviously learn encryption. I'll learn SSL. I will learn the tunneling. I will learn about secure tunneling as well. If you want to learn about network security, so I don't really do much network security myself as a network engineer, but that is something that you can learn to build projects on. So, do you know about the HUI HCI Datacom certification? So I'm not really familiar with HUI. So if you guys don't know, I believe that company doesn't really exist in the United States. It's mainly in countries like Africa and Europe, in terms of their network. So I'm not familiar with that certification. It's irrelevant to someone in the United States because we don't have HUI. I don't even know how to pronounce that, but HUI routers on our networks. So I'm not really familiar with that particular one. So we have a question from Mark L. Mark L says, for someone starting out, which network tool should I master first? Wireshark, TCP dump, Nmap? Uh, Definitely Wireshark, right? And what the reason I say that is because almost every network engineer needs to understand how to use it, because Wireshark is a packet capturing tool because it can tell you what's happening from layers 4, 5, 6, and 7. So it tells you what's going on all the layers of the OSI model. So that's one thing I would look at. Then I would do Nmap, to be honest. Those are the two. I don't really use TCP dump. So that's kind of what I would do to master first. But yeah, but to be honest, like if you're not a network engineer, I would just focus on Wireshark. I wouldn't focus on the rest. And then once you become a network engineer, then you can add those to your toolkit. Question from Mark again. Do hiring managers value home lab experience? Try Hackme, Wireshark Labs as much as certs when considering junior network engineer positions. Yes, when it comes to junior positions or even network engineer positions, they value labs over certifications 10 times out of 10. So because if you're good enough to lab, you're good enough to answer network engineering questions. If you say, hey, I have a CCNA certification or CCNP or even CCIE, and you go into an interview setting, they're not going to have the confidence in you until you show your work. And one thing that you should always do is show your work and show you configuring topologies on Wireshark, you talking about that, because that's really something that you can talk about. Because when you go into an interview and they ask you, do you have any experience, you can talk about your projects. If they ask about experience and you just talk about your certification, they're just going to be like, this guy's unqualified. So definitely certs are way more valuable than any certification. But yeah, guys, go ahead and drop some more questions in the chat. I'm actually starting to enjoy this live stream. It's pretty fun. We are live right now on IG and Instagram, IG and YouTube. So feel free to answer any questions. I'll be answering all the questions that you guys have that we got here. So let's go ahead and answer this particular IG question. I currently have the Network Plus certification through my school. What's the best plan of action with no experience? What certs do you have? What certs do you have besides the CCNA? Awesome. So that's a really good question right there. So you have the Network Plus, right? I am a big proponent to not get the Network Plus, but I'm assuming you got it for free because you got it from school. So I'm gonna let you slide on that one. But then you said, what's the best plan of action with no experience? So the best plan of action with no experience is to make your own experience, right? Because you can't go into an interview saying I don't have experience. You have to make your own experience, and that comes from labbing. So you should be spending 100% of your time labbing right now, right? That's literally all the time I'd be spending is just labbing, 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 because the labs is what's going to help you get the experience. And then the next thing I would focus on is once you do the labs, then you should be enough have the confidence to get a job. What certifications do I have besides CCNA? I have the CCNA certification as well as the CISSP certification. Those are the only two certifications I have. I'm not big on certifications. I think certifications, for the most part, kind of are a waste of time because they don't help you. They may or may not help you land a job, but what helps you land a job is the skills. Because I always say this: the skills pay the bills at the end of the day. So that's kind of why I don't have more than any more certifications, because I've been able to do well without them. So that's kind of there. Hopefully that answers your question. So go ahead and drop more questions, guys, in the chat. We're live on YouTube. Hopefully you guys liking the stream. It's been pretty so far. It's been quite well of the stream. This is my first time using this particular software, and it's pretty awesome. So go ahead and drop some questions in the chat. But yeah, I mean, really, what I want to talk about is in terms of network engineering. What is like, do you think network engineering, like I always get this question a lot, do you think network engineering is a worthwhile career to get into? And a lot of people will say, oh, it's not worth it. I should get into cloud, I should get into cyber. But what I always say is you should get into network engineering first out of all of those particular career fields, because it is the most backbone out of all of them. Because you have to know networking to get into cloud, you have to know networking to get into cybersecurity. And there's a lot less competition in networking in general. So that's kind of why I'm a big proponent of network engineering, because once you learn the skill set, it's going to be extremely easy for you to be able to eventually get into these other roles within tech like cloud or cyber. And that's kind of one thing that I recommend for a lot of you guys, is to eventually get into maybe cybersecurity, because at some point you can become a network engineer for like 20, 30 years, because it's going to exist, right? The reason we're able to have this particular live stream, right, and from all over the world, is because of networking. And it's kind of fascinating that that is the case, because there's fiber optical cables in the underneath the ocean that's being sent to all you guys who are watching this particular stream in real time. But you also have to remember that that's the backbone, right? And once you learn the skill set, you're going to be in a very good position to always be employable for positions, because network engineers are always needed and good network engineers are always needed. So that's a career field that I would always recommend to anyone, is to network engineering. But eventually, if you want, you can use your network engineering skills to get into cloud. Right. So that's kind of one thing that you guys can do. And I know many people who've done that, who made that transition, but networking is a really good gateway into it first. So that's kind of how I feel about network engineering myself. But let's go ahead and drop some more questions in the chat if you guys have any more on here. So this has been a crazy live stream so far. Well, we've been live for almost 20 minutes. So let me just go and check my phone real quick, see what's going on out here. Um, let's see what else. But go ahead and drop some questions in the chat. I'm going to see if you have any questions on Instagram, because I can't see my Instagram questions on YouTube. So sorry for those who are watching on Instagram. I'm not able to see your guys' questions at all. So let me just see what's going on there. So give me one moment and see what's going on out here. Okay. But any last questions from anyone? If not, we can end the stream here. This was just meant to be more of a quick stream with all you guys to talk about network engineering, kind of just to have some fun. And if you guys like the stream, like I said, give it a thumbs up. I'm going to try to do as many streams as possible. And we're almost close to 10,000 subscribers on YouTube as well. So feel free, if you guys are not a subscriber, to subscribe to the channel, because I really want to grow this channel and help you guys. And I've heard so many stories from all of you, and it really means the world to me to help you guys become network engineers. So thank you guys so much. If you guys are looking to become a network engineer right now, very, very soon, and need help and assistance and want me to be your mentor, go ahead and book a call with me down below, and you can learn more on how to become a network engineer. So thank you guys so much. And let me just answer a couple more questions that we have, and then we'll just end stream. It says, are there any CDA regions that have significantly better than others? Yes, the Dallas market that I've seen has been the hottest market for network engineering positions. So Dallas, Texas, that market is extremely hot. A lot of my students that I've helped land jobs come from that particular market. Another market is Florida. Florida is also pretty hot as well. Another market is Atlanta. Atlanta is another hot market. And I would also say Denver. My hometown is also a really good market as well. I'm new here. As for labs, what do you mean? I have a computer science degree and limited experience in network engineering. How should I grow my experience? When I mean labbing, there's a software called Packet Tracer, and Packet Tracer is basically a software that allows you to be able to configure devices on a network. And it's a very easy software. It's free. Just look at Packet Tracer, watch a video. I made a video on it. It's super easy to use. And then last question here: a lot of growth with the current job market. Leaving could be risky. I'm a NOC engineer currently. Um, I would say, I mean, with the current job market, I wouldn't say like if there's no like if you should only leave your position if there's another position that you have. So you're currently a NOC engineer. NOC engineers, if you guys don't know, are a lower level engineering position under network engineer. So if you guys are looking to grow, then definitely jump to another position. Even if you're a NOC engineer, like there's no harm in leaving that position. I don't, even if it's risky, everything is risky. You can get laid off in your position anyway, anytime. So that's kind of how I would answer that. But thank you guys so much. I want to wrap it here. This was meant to be a quick live stream. We're already over time. But thank you guys so much. If you guys are looking to become a network engineer in 2025, please click the link in my description if you guys are interested. But thank you guys so much. Give this a thumbs up, subscribe, and comment. And I thank you guys so much for tuning in. Thank you.